Ricordare è un'espressione di umanità. Ricordare è segno di civiltà. Ricordare è condizione per un futuro migliore di pace e di fraternità. Ricordare anche è stare attenti, perché queste cose possono succedere un'altra volta.
Today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. The United Nations designated January 27th to honor the anniversary of when Allied troops liberated Auschwitz concentration camp in German-occupied Poland.
Auschwitz, where Nazis murdered more than 1 million people, mostly Jews.
For me, Auschwitz is a cemetery.
I remember the hangings. I remember the horror.
Auschwitz is like a terrible scar.
It was a terrible place.
In a place where 1 million Jews were murdered by the Nazis simply because they were Jews, those who survived the Holocaust and who will be the last voice and living testament to what happened spoke to remind us of what took place and must never take place again. This survivor said it was important that the memory of what happened at Auschwitz was kept alive because regimes like the Nazis could easily come back.
It could happen to here too. It could happen. What the Germans did it. A country like that, sophisticated, intelligent people became beasts, even animals.
Sometimes history has a way of repeating itself. Hate leads to destruction. We must not forget, and we can't forget.
This may well be the last time so many survivors gather here, but their warning from history is very clear. Never again.
Murderers, they were not, maybe not before, but that's what humankind can become.
Historians have identified a number of key distinct phases that they say indicate that a genocide is in motion. Could you take us through some of those?
It starts with something that's called classification, which is saying that the targeted group is different. There's a notion of us, the nation, and then them, those people. And then there's a stage where they identify the victims. In the Second World War, it was the Yellow Star, but it can be either identifying elements for other genocides. Then there's discrimination. The discrimination means that rights are stripped away from some of these people. They can't do certain professions. Sometimes their citizenship is stripped away from them. And then in the next phase, the persecution begins. They're also separated from other people, placed in ghettos. The persecution intensifies. There's violence. Then they're dehumanized. They're seen as different, not really human, subhuman. Sometimes they're called cockroaches, vermin. Then the final stage, or the almost final stage, is the actual annihilation of the people.
Before you can persecute a people, before you can incarcerate large numbers of people, you have to marginalize them. You have to create the image that these people are dangerous to society, or they're extremists or radicals. Call them what you will, but marginalize them from the mainstream of society so that at that point the rest of society will accept the persecution that might result upon this group. It's been an age-old strategy that's worked in every totalitarian regime in the history of the world, and that's why we're concerned here in the United States when we see this kind of marginalization going on. Why are they being marginalized? Why are they being singled out as a potential danger to society? And I think it's shades of the strategies and tactics of totalitarian regimes in history past, and that should never happen in this country.
Let's use our imagination and our thoughts to get to the early 1930s, to Berlin. One day, in those early 1930s, you can read an inscription on the benches. Jews must not sit on these benches. You could say, it's unpleasant, it's not fair, it's not right. But after all, there are so many benches around. You can sit somewhere else. Of course you can. There was a swimming pool, and over its door an inscription read, Jews are forbidden to enter. You could say, well, pleasant this is not, but there are so many places in Berlin where you can take a bath or swim, so many lakes, canals, it's nearly like Venice. And then you read, we only sell bread and food to Jews after 5 p.m. Right? Less choice. This makes your life harder. But after all, after 5 p.m. you can still do your shopping. Now, I warn you, I'm getting used to a thought. That thought that someone may be excluded becomes mediated into our lives. The thought that somebody can be stigmatized, that someone may be alienated. And that's how it is done, step by step, slowly. People begin to see that this is something normal. Both victims and the perpetrators, the witnesses, those whom we in English call bystanders, that they are different people, that they are alien people, that they are the people that carry germs, that cause pandemics. And this now is a horror that's dangerous. This is where what may happen soon takes its origin. And that government also saw that people were slowly engulfed by this lack of sensitivity. They ceased to react to evil. And that was the moment when that government could speed up the process of evil. What came later was something that developed immediately. Jews could not get jobs, they could not emigrate, and then, quickly, Jews would be sent to ghettos, to Kaunas, to Riga, to my ghetto, where they were murdered in lorries with exhaust gases. And here you see how Auschwitz did not fall suddenly from the skies. It was pittering, pattering in all those tiny steps. It was approaching until what happened here behind me did happen.
In his speeches, he challenged people to love their neighbors, to care for the poor and sick, and to take a stand against violence.
He also said, I believe today that I'm acting in the sense of the Almighty Creator.
In public, Adolf Hitler often referred to himself as a follower of Christ. Even today, many people believe that the Holocaust was carried out in the name of Christianity.
One of his most public shows of solidarity with the Church was the signing of the Nazi Vatican Concordat in 1933.
That pact was that the Catholic Church would support Adolf Hitler politically, and Hitler would make sure they had freedom of religion.
In Rome, the Pope, Pius XII, is confined to his palace, far from the chaos of war. As the spiritual leader to hundreds of millions of Catholics around the world, he must guide the Church through one of the darkest periods of our history. The world awaits any kind of grand gesture or speech condemning these atrocities. But the Pope remains silent. As early as the 1930s onwards, dozens of priests become Nazis. The Vatican will let it happen. The Church will even make a pact with the Führer by signing an international agreement.
Pie XI a toujours dit, bien avant l'arrivée d'Hitler, qu'il signerait un concordat avec le diable en personne s'il fallait, si c'était nécessaire pour sauver les intérêts de l'Église.
Perché queste cose possono succedere un'altra volta.
The prophecies which the great I Am has given in his word, uniting link after link in the chain of events, from eternity in the past to eternity in the future, tell us where we are today in the procession of the ages and what may be expected in time to come. All that prophecy has foretold is coming to pass until the present time has been traced on the pages of history. The Bible says, "And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book." We are on the very precipice of this time. The thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. For more information on the topics discussed in this video, please visit our website at www.prophesyagain.org.